Thank you, Chair. There are so many great witnesses, and I think I'll start with questions to Ms. Boniadi and ask other witnesses questions in other rounds or later in this one. First of all, thank you for emphasizing your support for listing the IRGC as a terrorist organization. Parliament has passed motions, one unanimously just a couple weeks ago, and then another one 6 years ago that passed with a majority as well. Unfortunately, they have not been implemented by the executive branch here, and we continue to reiterate calls for the IRGC to be listed as a terrorist organization. Could you share more with us about specifically why this step is important, what impact this would have in terms of human rights in Iran and accountability for perpetrators of abuses, and if there's any insights you can share from other countries that have taken action against the IRGC and the impact that those actions have had, we'd appreciate hearing it.
Thank you very much for the question. If you look at, for example, Europe, they're very, they're moving forward with support for designating the IRGC. I think where there is a thriving and vibrant Iranian diaspora in places like Canada, where there's a democracy, the will of the people should be reflected in your policies. And if you look at a Pew Research poll, for example, that was done in 2020, it showed that 3/4 or more of people in 14 advanced economies had a negative view on human rights in Iran. That was only exacerbated, I'm sure, by the women life freedom protests that resonated really with people across the world, especially in democracies. So you'll see in the European Union, for example, that the European Commission President and members of the European Parliament are really pushing for this. If you look at places like the US, where there's already a designation that exists, people are safer than places in, say, the United Kingdom or Europe, where transnational repression really exists. We have the example of, in London, for example, Iranian journalist Pouria Zeraati being stabbed outside his home, which is looking more and more like it was a contracted job by the Islamic Republic. If we want to keep people safe, we have to list the IRGC. The argument that dialogue, for example, is important is really something that we should move past from. 45 years of dialogue has not kept people safe, and people are still being targeted. So I encourage you to please list the IRGC and listen to your vibrant and flourishing diaspora. And I know that Canada has been a leader in many ways. You were the first to call the 1988 massacre of thousands of Iranian, what it was, a crime against humanity. And I think you should lead in this and not wait for others to do it first. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I wanted to follow up as well, but just first of all to say, I think your point that drawing out information from the United States, highlighting how people are safer as a result of this terrorist listing, that it makes a concrete difference in terms of combating transnational repression and keeping members of the diaspora communities safe is very important testimony. In a way, it's obvious, but it's very important that you've put that on the record.